Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, it's about 4 o'clock, and in some ways it's kind of weird how things are going around, you know, and I think it was probably about a couple of days ago, we had like a power outage, and what happened was is that my dad had forgot to turn off one of the power strips, and now it's like his computer is now fried, busted, and all that. And so now it's like my dad is kind of planning on either getting one of his friends to get some parts and all that, because like just to salvage the hard drives and maybe even the the optical disk drive, because there was this optical disk drive that's like stuck in there. As far as that goes, it was when we got a new printer maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago that we took that installation disk to kind of have it paired up with the computer there. You know, so as far as when it comes to like the computer build that I'm doing, I think we're gonna have that sort of thing done probably by next week or so after my brother visits. You know. But I mean, I had come to the conclusion that I was gonna do like maybe more of a starter build kind of thing. And I could probably do some other kind of computer build later on. I mean, with like Windows 10 as far as that goes. I don't know. I'm still like uneasy about Windows 10 and as far as that goes, and a lot of times when I'm uneasy about certain things, it's like I don't really ignore these kind of feelings, because it's like a lot of times when this sort of thing happens, is if I ignore my feelings of being uneasy about something, or I mean my instincts or whatever it is, or intuition, then I'm in for a rude awakening. You know, and that sort of thing happened many times before, where that happens, and sometimes I think I should just keep my uneasy feelings and worriness of certain things or people or whatnot to myself, because a lot of times when I tell people about that, they always say like, "Oh, Scott, you're just being paranoid," and all this sort of stuff. But a lot of times is my uneasy feelings or whatever is it turns out to be correct. So what is it with people that say these kind of things? Even though I had mentioned that numerous times on here, but that's just the case. You know. So, anyways, as far as all this other stuff going, it just seems a little bit strange, you know, that we're living in this kind of weird times and all this. But I feel like I have to try to keep a clear head about these kind of things and not fall into this sort of paranoia or whatever it is, that people do these kind of things like that. But it's mainly just to control the perception of people, because when people start to get completely paranoid and afraid of every little thing, they lose sight and lose perspective of everything, and then wish for some people to sort it out, or wish for people to sort out things for them and all that, and then that's where we lead into all this trouble, because then people will exploit these kind of things, and that always seems to happen throughout time and all that. And it's case for like such civil unrest, that there's such sort of movements that start off with certain things, and then there's always certain people that want to exploit these type of movements to bring it into their own little collective or whatever it is. Where if it was like the whole French Revolution or the Russian Revolution and all these other type of revolutions that happened so far. You know, that there's a legitimate grievances against the establishment, and then there's some other groups that just simply want to exploit the whole movement and turn it into something to their own making of some sort. You know, and then there's always been this sort of counter movement, counter revolutionary movements, and all this sort of stuff, trying to preserve the status quo, when in reality that nothing in this sort of thing stays the same. So it's one of those little things. I hate having to kind of go around and talk about more than just one subject on my mind and all that, but that's just how it is. I mean, I haven't really been doing a whole lot of videos on YouTube lately because it's like, what was there to talk about at this point? You know, the whole thing with Trump and all that, and it's basically I would be repeating everything that I've been hearing all over the place. You know, that I'm just, not that it was simply contributing to an echo chamber of some sort, but mainly it's just that every person that I had probably might have subscribed to in some cases is just repeating the same thing, and it's just going to be a bit tiresome to have, like, for some people hearing me repeating the same things that people from the Young Turks or Secular Talk or whatever, you know, and all that, where if it's like, not just that, but other people like Mundane Man or Sargon or Akkad or any of these other people that I've probably subscribed to there, you know, but in some ways, this sort of thing that was also on my mind, I hadn't really talked about it with, like, my dad or my mom about it, where it was the horseshoe theory, but I didn't know that's what it was called. But I remember, like, observing, going into this one political discussion back about 15 years ago when I was hanging out at that one website, newrounds.com, and that was kind of like YouTube, back then, you know, it was kind of like YouTube for, like, Flash animation, for people would submit their own, like, Flash animation videos and stuff like that, you know, at that time, you know. And in a way, the whole political discussion and forum that they had was where someone was saying about the political spectrum, and someone says, no, it's not really a spectrum, it's more like a horseshoe of some sort, and I didn't know that was what it was, like a horseshoe. The horseshoe theory, when they were kind of saying, like, well, how they were saying, like, how similar far leftist and far rightist, or whatever they usually call it, or far right conservatives tend to be, you know, how they're authoritarian in some ways, and it's like, when you look at the bottom of the horseshoe would be there's centrist, and then there'd be, like, liberal or conservative, and then kind of goes to, like, socialist, nationalist, and then we go to, like, the fascist, communist, and then it's like people that are out of that sort of spectrum on both ends is like lunatic fringe on the outside of the horseshoe on the opposite end, which is completely the antithesis of centrist. So I think that whole theory does hold a lot of validity in some ways, you know. But as I said before, it's just said, this is just that I don't really like having to do, like, a really long one like that where I have a lot of stuff on my mind, but this is just something that I had to kind of put out there because I hadn't really done a whole lot of vlogs in the past couple of days, you know. So anyways, talk to you guys later.